G'day Stalkers! This video details how to use my crafting tracker spreadsheet. The spreadsheet makes tracking recipes and components a breeze, and it's free to download. OneDrive link is in the description. It isn't just a tool to help me in the Loner to Legend Crafting Challenge series. It's a gift to all of you, my Stalker brothers and sisters, because I know how painful tracking this stuff can be, believe me. Let's dive in. This is the recipe items sheet. All of Stalker Anomaly's recipes are here. This is the items sheet. All of the components required for crafting are here. This is the dashboard sheet. The dashboard displays a summarized list of all the components and recipes that you're tracking. This is the how-to sheet. It details the basic steps for using the spreadsheet. It also offers helpful tips, which you should read. To begin tracking your crafting wish list, click the recipe item sheet. The item name column contains the name of all recipes. Locate the recipes you want to craft. Type how many of each item you want to craft into the yellow column. Only type in the yellow columns. All other columns contain important information and formulas, and if they're overwritten, the spreadsheet may stop working. Next, click the item sheet. Locate the items which are required for the recipes you want to craft. These are easily located as the total needed column will contain a number greater than 0. Type how many of each item you have into the yellow column. If an item row turns green, it means that you have enough of that item for all your selected crafting recipes. Click the dashboard sheet. At the moment, it's blank. The dashboard needs to be manually updated whenever you make a change to the items or recipe item sheets. Click the data ribbon, then click refresh all. Windows users can also hold Ctrl, Alt, then press F5. All your selected recipes and their related components appear in the trackers. The dashboard is your live companion when you're playing Stalker Anomaly. All the information you need to know is in one easy location, though a little scrolling might be required. Continue updating the items and recipe sheets as you get more items or need to craft more things. Once you've collected enough of an item to meet the total required for all your recipes, its row turns green in the item sheet and the dashboard. Once you have collected enough items to satisfy the requirements of a recipe, the recipe row turns green on the recipe item sheet and on the dashboard. Once you have crafted an item, reduce the item amount in the yellow column on the recipe item sheet. Then reduce the amount of the component items in the yellow column on the item sheet. Don't forget to refresh the dashboard after you have made your changes. Recipes are passively tracked in the recipe item sheet. The recipe row turns green when you have enough component items to craft the recipe, even if you aren't tracking the recipe. Only tracked recipes and their related components appear in the dashboard. This passive tracker feature was designed for stalkers who love to collect everything and want to know what they can craft with their stash. The columns in the dashboard, items, and recipe item sheets have filter drop-down options. Filters can be used to refine the information you want to see. Let's head to the recipe item sheet for an example. Click the item name drop-down. Hover over Filter by Color, then select Green. Only rows which are highlighted green, the recipes for which you have enough component items to craft, are displayed. To remove the filter, click the drop-down box, then click Clear Filter from Item Name. You can get creative with filters. Just don't forget when you set them, or they might hide other information you're expecting to see in future. One last note on filters. The orange and blue item name columns on the dashboard have a filter applied to only display the items you want to track. Don't remove or modify these filters. Let's take a look at what each column tracks on the items and recipe item sheets. The total needed column tracks the combined number of component items you need for all of your tracked recipes. The You Have column is where you enter how many of each component you have in your stash. The Weight column lists how heavy a single component is. The Value column lists the base value of each item as extracted from Anomaly source files. This is the value before any game modifiers such as difficulty or faction rank are applied. The ruble value per 0.01 kilograms is an indicator of relative value. The higher this number, the more valuable per 0.01 kilograms. The required component count for multi-use items, such as the small bore rifle repair kit, refers to the number of required uses and not the number of repair kits. This is a common mistake which people make when trying to identify component quantities for crafting. The uses can be split across multiple items. The item name lists the name of the recipe item. The number to craft is where you enter how many recipe items you want to craft. The craftable column lists how many of each recipe item you're currently able to craft. The following 5 columns relate to component 1 in the recipe, including the name, the quantity required for a single craft, total required if you want more than one of this recipe item, and how many of the component item you currently have. This structure is repeated for the other 3 components in the recipe. Near the end of the table are columns which list the crafting toolkit required to make the item, and which category the item falls under in the crafting menu. This concludes the overview of the crafting tracker spreadsheet. I hope you get lots of mileage from it. Check the pinned comment for reported errors, fixes, and updates. If the crafting system still confuses you, check out the other instructional videos on my channel, and watch the Loner to Legend Crafting Challenge playthrough, where I lean heavily on the crafting system to survive. If you like my content and you find it helpful, fan the like button, subscribe, and ring the ding-a-ling to be notified when I upload. Both myself and the algorithm thank you for it. Until next time, good hunting, Stalker.